I'm kind of hate watching now. Like I'm watching it and I want to see Ken Ward do well and I want to see our defense do well, but I want to see us fucking lose because I want Brian Callahan strapped to a damn rocket and shot out of Nashville as quickly as possible.
Boom, we back episode 2 of the Playback Reel. I got the homie Roberto here today. We're gonna talk about, some boxing, college football, of course the NFL. Can't forget about that shit. Trying something different today. Um, quick, tell the people about yourself. So I know you want to get in
Man,
this content creation game.
yeah. So I'm getting into content creation. I really want to make a channel similar to yours, just talking about sports. I'm a diehard Titans fan. Love the NFL. I love all things combat sports. So mixed martial arts, boxing, kickboxing, you name it. I love combat sports. So I just love sports in general. So I mean, if I'm gonna sit here, I'm a barber. That's what I do for work. If I'm gonna sit here and do it 45 hours a week, I might as well record some of it and just get my takes out there and have fun with it. So I appreciate you having me on, and I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, for sure, man. I wanted to ask you this. I don't think I've ever asked you this. How did you get into kickboxing real quick before we dive into everything else?
So I started box. I played football my whole life, and then when I was 18, I made a boneheaded decision to not go play college football, despite having a couple like NAIA and D3 not offers but opportunities. I was going to take a year off, go to Pell City State Community College, and then try my hand at going to ETSU and walking on. Halfway through my freshman year, I was like, this ain't happening. So I quit going to school. And then without sports, my life, I mean, I played sports my whole life. I played soccer, I played football. So I walked into a boxing gym and I was like, let's do it. So I boxed for about a decade. And then I felt like um, I'd maxed out the experience of boxing because I didn't want to go pro. I'd competed some. And I don't know. My original reason for getting into boxing was I wanted to do mixed martial arts at some point, but I ended up falling in love with boxing. So after about 10 years, I just feel like I maxed out the experience and was like, hey, walked into a kickboxing gym here. I am. So yeah.
That's not bad. Yeah, you don't really hear a lot of people that I guess jump into kickboxing or anything like that. The only notable one I can think of, and it wasn't even for kickboxing, was Andrew Tate, but that's a
Right.
outlier out there.
So
So
for
what
me,
did you play in football though? What did it correlate to the kickboxing? Like were you a kicker, punter as well as something else?
so my family's from Europe. So growing up, soccer was the only sport in my household until I was like my parents got divorced when I was like 5, and then my dad remarried an American woman, my stepmom, when I was 8 years old, and her son played football. So soccer was the only sport in my life until I was like 8 or 9, and he played football, so I got into it. But I ended up playing linebacker and quarterback for most of my life. Of course, kicking just kind of came natural to me because I played soccer as a kid. So eventually translated to kicking, I want to say around like sixth, seventh, eighth grade, and I was actually a hell of a kicker. I was kicking. I've got videos on YouTube of me kicking 55 yarders when I was in seventh grade, and honestly, now I wouldn't say I regret anything because every decision I made put me where I am, and I love my life. But if I could go back, I wish I would have just stuck to kicking and really taken it seriously because I think I had a true opportunity to do something with it. But I think football in general, when it comes to any combat sport, just preps you due to the physicality of it, the physical nature of, especially the positions I played, like linebacker. Um, we ran kind of like a wildcat offense, so quarterback wasn't necessarily. I wasn't a passer. I was always more of like a run first type of guy. So we did a lot of zone reads. We kind of did RPOs before RPOs was a thing because I played football. I graduated in 2015, so it's been about a decade. Um, but yeah, that correlated straight into fighting as far as the toughness, like just being able to get hit and get right back up. So yeah, kickboxing, it's a different type of. There was still a massive learning curve because getting hit in the face is getting hit in the face, and it's not a natural thing to do. But
True.
eventually, just like with football, in football, getting hit period ain't a natural thing. But after a couple years, you get used to it. So um, you definitely get used to it. But I'm starting to slow down now just because hell, it's been 20 years I've been in some type of physical sport with head trauma. So, and
That shit taking its toll on your body,
yeah,
ain't it? you
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
that shit a little bit more. You
Just
wake up.
looking into the future. You know what I mean? Like I'm not at the point where I want to go pro. I do it because I love it. I do it because I love staying involved with the sport. I think my next logical step is getting into jiu-jitsu and finally kind of putting it all together. I would like to. My goal is to fight at least one full-blown mixed martial arts fight, um, have a fight, and then just probably call it quits and try to get into coaching because I absolutely love coaching.
I could see you being like a MMA coach or like a kickboxing coach
Um,
for sure.
so as you know, I've gotten into the commentating scene as well. So, you know,
Mm.
commentating and coaching is definitely like what I'm looking towards. I would say I experienced a little bit of like a burnout right after my last fight. So last July I fought, and then the training camp for that fight was weird because I switched gyms mid training camp. Um, and then I kind of only had like 4 weeks to really prep for my fight. And I had to lose like 20 pounds in 4 weeks. And I don't know if
Damn.
you've ever had to
That's
deal with
5
that
a
or any
week.
of your
Crazy.
listeners. Yeah, I've ever had to deal with that, but I procrastinated it. And so the last week I had like 16 pounds to lose in 7 days. So that was brutal. But after that fight, I hit like a burnout wall, and I've been on and off between that burnout wall since then. I really want to fight one more kickboxing fight, but like I said, I've kind of gotten into commentating, just supporting the homies that still fight. You know what I mean? I love going to the gym, seeing the guys, and going to their fights and stuff. So I don't feel any type of pressure to like fight again. I don't feel like I have anything to prove to myself or anybody else. I'm 29 years old. Like I've done it. I don't get me wrong. I'm not the best kickboxer in the world by any means. I'm not any of that, but the
You
only
could
thing
whoop
I feel like,
somebody's ass if you needed to, is
yeah,
what
like
you could do.
I'm confident in my abilities for one, and for two, I mean, logically, like it's just, what am I gonna do it for at this point? Like, I don't want any more head trauma. I don't want to get hurt. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I'd like to start a family in the next 3 years. I'd like my kids to grow up with a dad that's not fucking out of his mind. So,
You got
um,
CTE and shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, I played football hard. Like, I've got my helmet hanging up over there, and there's just scars straight down the middle of it. So, head trauma is I'm probably good on that. But the last thing, like I said, I want to fight one mixed martial arts fight. So definitely doing that at some point. But I'm gonna need at least a year of like Brazilian Jiu Jitsu training because I've trained a little bit, but not a whole lot. So that's the only thing I really
You want to
on
get
my
your
radar.
bearings covered and shit. I feel you.
Yeah, I have a cool opportunity in the next couple months that I can't really speak about yet, but um, it will be kind of the next step up in the commentating world. So see where that goes. And I'm just kind of playing it by ear now. So we'll see.
I feel you on that. That's interesting. I'm gonna pry that information out of you off camera at some
Yeah,
point. I'm gonna get
I'll
that
tell
damn
you off
information.
camera.
But yeah, speaking of fights, man, what was your thoughts on the Canelo Crawford fight? Because it was a fight they were highly promoting. WWE was pushing it. Netflix, the Tennessee Georgia game, which you're gonna talk about in a little bit. I was tired as hell. I didn't even get to see it. Besides the results, Max Kellerman shaking like he was on some cocaine, allegedly, or he done bet the whole house on somebody that didn't win the fight. But what was your thoughts on the fight?
Man, I have multiple thoughts on this fight. For one, I think when it came to promotion, I was surprised that it wasn't promoted more heavily because I feel like this is the first true super fight we've had since like Pacquiao and Mayweather, right? I mean, you've had Canelo's fought Triple G.
No.
Listen, hear me out.
You
Hear me
got
out.
Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. That was
Hear
one of
me
those
out.
super fights. At least the second one was
But listen,
Mayweather and
let,
McGregor. Even
let
though
me.
it's not,
Okay.
two boxers.
I'll give you Mayweather McGregor. I'm talking true boxing. To me, a super fight is like Titanic, right? The first one I felt in my lifetime that I was old enough to remember was the Pacquiao Mayweather fight. Both guys I watched growing up. My dad was a huge boxing fan, and those two felt like untouchable, right? They ended up doing it at the wrong time of their career, but to me, a super fight is like the best against the best. So with Fury and Wilder, and I feel like household names, right? You have to almost transcend the sport to be a super fight in my mind. To a boxing fan or someone that keeps up with the sport, you know who Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder is, but you can walk on the street and maybe two, three people will know him. names like Terrence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez are known in the sporting community in general. So I feel like both of them kind of transcend the sport. When you look at a guy like Terrence Crawford, who, in my opinion, is the most underrated boxer of his time, I think he's genuinely the GOAT of this time period. He has never ran from a challenge. He's never ducked anybody. He's always taken the challenge when it was there. Against a guy like Canelo, which obviously I think he's kind of on the back half of his career. That's a super fight in my mind.
Yeah, Canelo been
So,
around a minute for sure.
but I agree with you. You could throw Fury and Wilder in there. But to my point, right? When Wilder and Fury were fighting, promotion was everywhere. I feel like for this Canelo and Crawford fight, you kind of had to look for it. I even forgot on Monday. I was like, "Oh shit, the Canelo Crawford fights this weekend, right?" So I feel like they could have done a better job promoting it. Maybe that's just me not being on social media as much, not looking around as much. But regardless, but getting into the fight, I think the whole the I guess the talk before the fight was Canelo's size versus Crawford's boxing IQ and speed, right? And I think that's exactly
Yeah,
what
they
played
did
out.
talk about that a lot. Like,
Yeah.
what are they gonna do when Crawford gets hit and then blah blah blah. Yeah.
So especially Kellerman, like that's something he really hammered home was like Crawford's gonna be the better boxer, but when he gets hit, what's gonna happen? Because Canelo, don't even Canelo's a big dude. But that's exactly how the fight played out. I think Crawford was able to just outbox him. Like it was truly a masterclass. When I think back to some of the best boxing performances I've seen, that's up there in the top five. I mean, Crawford stayed on the outside. He used his reach to get in, get out, not get hit, stay away from Canelo's power shots for the first 5 or 6 rounds. And then I want to say it was round 5, he got caught. He got caught with like an overhand right. And that was the first time he really got hit in the fight. And I think he became comfortable at that point because he was like, oh shit, he can't hurt me. Like he ate it and just kept moving on. Right. So from that point on, um, Crawford got more comfortable and would stand in the pocket and throw with him. And that was phenomenal to see, just like two titans of the boxing world going at it, two legends that are going to be talked about forever, standing there in the pocket and throwing. We didn't get a whole lot of it. And I think self-preservation comes into play a little bit there. But it was a very exciting fight. And I think Terrence Crawford proves to a lot of people that respect deserves to be put on his name. Even though this is an older Canelo, even though you can say Canelo's on the back half of his career, Canelo's still Canelo. Canelo still goes out there and beats 99% of boxers in his weight class. But wait, Crawford was 2 weight classes down and jumped up to fight this guy. He looked like the stronger
Which says a
fighter
lot about him.
for sure. He looked like the stronger fighter. He was definitely the better boxer because Canelo's never really been a jabber, right? So like Canelo's more of a I'm gonna throw like either one power shot or I'm gonna hit you with a counter and then throw a couple power shots and then back out, fighting that Mexican boxing like real tucked in. You know what I'm saying? Like just
Yeah, close
more
quarters type shit.
right. More of a brawler, less of like a technical boxer. Crawford went in there and showed what technical like it was truly a masterclass in boxing. So yeah, Crawford deserved the victory. Crawford deserves all the respect on his name that could ever be put on someone's name. I mean, the guy, it was technically 3 weight classes, officially 2, technically 3, because there's a new weight class. Oh God, I forget what it is. Uh, Forgive me, but I forget. But it was technically 3 weight classes, but officially 2. So I mean, he's jumping up 15 pounds to fight a guy that's cutting to fight at that weight. So the size was interesting to me because they really didn't look that big of a difference in the ring. I mean, Canelo looked like a little beefier, but all in all, I think it was super exciting fight, and one I've actually rewatched twice since I watched it because I had so much fun watching it the first time. But yeah,
Because it was
hopefully,
on Netflix, right? So
yeah,
yeah, you
yeah,
just watched the replay.
yeah. You can just watch
Okay.
the replay. The card itself, though, I mean, eh, there was a couple interesting fights on it, but I feel like they could have done a better job kind of stacking that card with really good fights. I mean, I guess that's some big fights, big for like titles and stuff, but not enough household names to generate any like real excitement, I don't think. And then that
That's
same
been a
day,
problem with boxing for a while too. Like the undercard really don't be nothing special.
hmm,
It's just that build up to that big main event.
No, but I think what Saturday night did was monumental because for the longest time, this is why people like me, who I was a boxing purist, like boxing was my sport, right? And then the UFC came along and I fell in love with the UFC, and here's why. There's no, for the most part, there's no ducking in the UFC unless you're John Jones. Number two, the best have to fight the best, right? There's no, like, if you want this title, you got to run through these fighters ranked 15-1. There's one belt for every weight class, so there's no confusion. It's a funnel for talent, right? Whereas boxing, there are so many different promotions, there's so many different belts, there's so many different titles. It's like this. It's like 8 lines running, parallel to each other. And when we have
It's
unified
hard to
belt,
keep up with it too, like that.
exactly. And I just think it's hard when you have a product like boxing. For purists are always going to watch, right? Combat sports fans are always going to watch. I'm always going to watch boxing. If I come home and I notice a boxing fight's on, and I'll put it on TV and watch it, whatever. But like, in order to get the masses back interested in boxing and make boxing a big thing again, you got to have some more cohesion. You got to have some more organization of the product. And I think what Saturday night did was show that another the biggest issue for me in boxing and why it becomes this way is because, say, in the UFC you lose a fight, you can get right back to where you were in 2 fights, right? In boxing, especially if you haven't even won 25 fights yet, like that first time you get that loss, like if you're 24-0 and you get a loss,
Yeah, it
you're
hurts
dropping
your whole
a spear,
stock right
like
there.
you're done. So it's like people are chasing the Mayweather record. People are chasing these undefeated records in boxing, and that's why so many people duck each other, and that's why we don't get entertaining fights. And I think the great thing that Canelo and Crawford both did on Saturday that they both deserve a ton of respect for is they put their records on the line against a very dangerous opponent when they didn't have to. I mean, they're both at the point in their careers where they can just collect a check. They can go out there and fight some bum and collect a check because their name is going to draw in people. Like if Terrence Crawford's fighting, I'm watching. If Canelo's fighting, I'm watching. So neither of these guys had to do that. So it was a breath of fresh air to watch Canelo uh, be humble in defeat. He always is. He's always a consummate pro on the mic. And he straight up got on the mic afterwards and was like, "Look, I've I've made of my career what I will make of it. I'm already going down in the history books. And the reason I did it is because I'm out here chasing the best. So sometimes I'm going to lose. And today I wasn't the better man, but I'm going to get back up and I'm going to fight again. And I think if that mentality is adopted in boxing, and things are more unified, then you could have a product that can compete with the UFC again, which I am extremely, extremely excited that Dana White's poked his head into the boxing world, and Turkey Al Sheikh or whatever his name is has the funds to bring these guys in and be like, hey, let's make this a more cohesive unit. Let's make this more organized. Let's get these fighters to fight each other because we don't have exciting fights anymore. Like you mentioned, I mean, the last 5 years, what do you have? You have Wilder Fury, Fury Usyk, which heavyweight's always going to, whoever the heavyweight champion is going to bring in views, right?
Yeah.
Outside of that, that's, I mean, the last
It's
big
been like
fight.
celebrity fights, like old
Exactly.
ass Holyfield versus old ass Mike Tyson, Logan Paul versus whoever that's not really a boxer except the last time. Jake Paul, not Logan Paul, Jake Paul. Logan Paul fighting Mayweather, like all these publicity stunts, and then there's the celebrity boxing aspect of things too, where that's drawing attention because you see so and so beefing on the internet. So yeah, let's put them in the ring and see what happens. Let's see two football players boxing, see what happens, or two former NBA players. So they turn it damn near a whole circus act. That's one of the things that kind of made boxing take a step back, at least in
Right.
the last, like you said, 5 years. UFC, to be honest, around like 2020, really a little before that, but 2020, it just felt like it was oversaturated with all the pay-per-views. It felt like every single weekend. And it's to
Yeah.
the point now I gotta be like, who the fuck is this guy? Who is this person?
Yeah.
Somehow they 15-0, but I don't know who the hell this guy is. Versus back in the day, I knew who Brock Lesnar was. Um,
Right.
Damn, I'm already drawing blank on names. John Jones, like there was
Yeah.
names Chuck
I was
Liddell,
going to say,
GSP, Anderson
right.
Silva, like Rampage Jackson. Like you could just name people, you know. Versus now, it's not so much like that.
Yeah. And I think the UFC, well, two things I want to say. For one, boxing now, because of the celebrity boxing, whatever you want to call it, movement, right? If you're smart, you have a chance to capitalize on the attention it's bringing, the eyes it's bringing, because you're bringing outside eyes that wouldn't typically watch boxing. But if you can market it in the same way that Jake Paul, say what you want about him, he's a master businessman. He's a master marketer. He gets people to bring their eyes to these events. Are they fun fights? No. Are they actual boxing matches? No. But do I
Hell no.
respect it? Yes, because he's doing his thing. He's making money for him, and he's a he's a voice in the boxing community that's getting guys paid. He's getting fighters. He's trying to get fighters insurance. He's a positive voice in the boxing community. But if boxing was smart, what they would do is take this attention that boxing has on it and try to make more of these super fights, because now is the time to strike while the iron's hot, because your sport's been dead for 10 plus years because there's no big fighter. Everybody's ducking everybody. And just like you said, the issue with UFC is the reverse. Like, it's oversaturated, which I'm glad I'm a diehard UFC fan. So like, I love boxing. I watch boxing, but every time UFC's on, I'm watching it. I don't care if it's a fight night, a numbered card, contender series. I'm watching it all, right? They're trying to make more household names too, and they're slowing down the pay-per-view cards and adding more interesting fights on every card. So like, if you ask me, instead of having a numbered card every 2 weeks, do one a month or one every 2 months and make that card stack and move to the next one. So I agree with you that a lot of, I guess, mismanagement's been going on, but hopefully it can take a turn for the better. Because I mean, combat sports is why I fell in love with it is the truest form of competition. It's man versus man. It's let's go in there and throw hands. It's not a team sport. And it's the
I
oldest
don't know.
form.
I've seen some people take some dives now because they be throwing them big
Hey,
ass bet dives on the screen.
hey,
All UFC does that bad.
for
UFC,
sure.
I see that shit the whole fight. The odds. I'm like, why are you showing me the odds? Well, I know why, but like they
So
just keep hammering that shit on you.
I'm
Pause, of
glad
course.
you mentioned this, because this was my tidbit of information before we started recording, that I told you I had something for you for the Canelo and Crawford fight. So Adin Ross is on stream the night of the fight. He's chilling with his boys, right? He gets a phone call and he puts it on speaker. Adin Ross put $1 million on Canelo to win. He gets a phone call and the guy's like, yo, did you place the bet on Canelo? He's like, yeah. He's like, hey, I just got a call. You got to put it on Crawford. This is before the fight. It's $1 million bet. He's like, hey, I just got a call. I got one of those calls. You need to put it on Crawford. And he runs out of frame as this guy's talking, but it picks up enough audio to hear what he's saying. And he did end up switching his bet to Crawford, making the $1 million bet on Terrence Crawford, which was initially on Canelo. But I just thought that was very interesting that he got that call.
Swaying the money. Yeah, that's like the Ravens game against the Bills last week. Somebody put a shit ton of money on the Ravens, and all of a sudden, boom, look what happened. Them niggas was 15 points or something like that. Yeah, it was 40-25. All of a sudden they fumble and do all this dumb shit. Offense just suddenly stops. Or the so-called Drake curse. He put $1 million on such and such football team and basketball team, and they magically lose.
Yeah, I think this year I have. This is not financial advice, but this year what I have done is I love sports betting, and I don't love it for the fact of making money. I just love betting on games that I wouldn't care about, like this Texans and Bucks game that's going on right now, right? But if you bet against the public, you are gonna win 80% of the time, and that's all I've been doing this year, and I've turned $10 into 160. Just bet against the public.
Not bad.
Because there's a reason that casinos are built and not tore down every year. So if you go and you can go on ChatGPT, you can go on the internet, just type in who is the public betting on the Buccaneers and Texans game, and it'll show you money line, it'll show you spread, it'll show you everything the public is backing. That's not surefire, but for me, there's a reason casinos are built and not taken down. So I will always fade the public.
Speaking of such things, we're just going ahead and rip the Band-Aid off, man. You got the Tennessee Vols hat. I got the Vols cup over here. What was your thoughts on the game Saturday?
Man, I think first off, a game is never won or lost by one player. So one thing I absolutely hated seeing was, as I was leaving the game, because I was at the game, people being like, "Oh, F Max Gilbert, blah, blah, this, that." Did he miss the kick? Yeah. Does he deserve some shit? Yeah. But we would not have been in that position if we knew how to call plays defensively, if we knew how to stop the run, if we knew how to manage the clock on offense. It was just stupid. Like we lost that game out of sheer stupidity, right? How on earth,
You call it that.
like, how on earth, we're talking about, all right, so I'm at the game, right? It's 4th and 9 or whatever it was, Georgia's last possession where they were down 8 points. It's 4th and 9, and I couldn't tell 100%. I'd have to watch the game. I haven't watched the TV copy, but obviously you're at the game, like you're looking at different things. But it looked like it was like cover 0 on a 4th and 9, and you have a one-on-one on the outside. And you just let them like make this insane catch to score a touchdown. And then it's pretty much wraps from there. Like once that happened in the stadium, you could feel the momentum shift. It was I don't know. I just feel like the end of the game was mismanaged. The false start, like trying to be cute and getting that false start penalty and going back 5 yards, stupid. And after you do that, why not let Joey Aguilar? You still have 7 seconds and 1 timeout, right? Why
you
not
could
let
run
Joey
a play?
Run a play. Just kneel the ball into the dead center of the field and let the kicker kick. Like I said, I used to kick. The kick off the left hash mark is a tough kick because you're guiding the ball. Kickers will get in their head. Don't get me wrong. He's getting paid for it. They're professionals nowadays. I don't care what you want to call them. They're getting paid, so they're professionals. He should make that kick, but that's a harder kick for a right-footed kicker because you're essentially opening your body up and you're trying to guide this ball as opposed to just hitting it, right? So he tried to guide this ball, and it floats off to the right. And anytime you see a kick float off to the right, a lot of times it's because the kicker is just trying to guide the ball. So it's like in golf when you're trying to hit like a shot from 40 yards out. You're not necessarily like hitting it as hard as you can. You're just trying to guide it. And that's what happened on that kick. He didn't just go through his motion and kick the ball. He was trying to guide the ball into the field goal posts. Why not put him in the middle of the field? You have a timeout. What are you holding on to that timeout for? Like, what are we doing? You've already lost the 5 yards. 1 yard difference ain't gonna hurt you. Let Joey hike the ball, take 2 steps, and take a knee. Like what? It's incompetence.
Here's what I noticed that was interesting about the game. Tennessee was up 21-7 in the first quarter. The spread was still -1.5 for Georgia. The game started off -3.5 Georgia as the
it was
favorite.
Still obviously. 1.5 when we were up 21-7.
Yeah, that was like I knew Georgia was finna come back when I saw that shit. Yeah. Like they're not finna have a game this hyped up, college game day and all this shit where it's just gonna be an ass whooping. Tennessee just gonna lay the smack down the whole game. No, the second quarter showed that shit. Tennessee took their foot off the gas. When Josh Heupel ran the ball 3 times in a row, just up the middle, that told me everything I need to know right there. You taking a field goal, clearly point shaving. That ain't the only time there's point shaving. Alec Aguilar's pick, that was stupid as fuck. That was a terrible pick. He had a great game, but that was a terrible fucking pick. There's no reason to be throwing into double.
Which one are you talking about?
I think it was the one in the first half? I think it was the first half when the one where he chucked it up in the clear double coverage.
That was in the second half. Yeah, it was in the second half, and it was 3rd down something. To me, I was like, whatever. It was just an arm punt, but I agree with you. Stupid pick. Could have ran a better play there.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of fuckery there. And I was telling one of my friends when I was watching the game, because like we were still up at this point, like the comfortable lead. I told him, Josh Heupel likes to take his foot off the gas anytime Tennessee gets up big against like decent teams. Oklahoma last year, same thing we saw there. Same shit here against Georgia. You kept him around. Somehow they made Gunnar Stockton like the coldest nigga that's ever played at Georgia, second to Matt Stafford. Should not be like that, but I get it. It is what it is. This is going to factor in later on in the season when Georgia loses a game to somebody like, I'm not saying they're going to lose to Alabama, but say they might lose to Alabama or some shit, and we end up beating Alabama. It's this 3-way tie shit that keeps things interesting. So it is what it is. Tennessee did cover that 3.5 point spread despite losing overtime. I was laughing my ass off though when my friend was like crashing out, like cussing at the TV. I'm just like, this shit too funny at this point.
I mean, it's like
I know the fuckery when I see it.
you can't even. If it was a movie script, you wouldn't believe it. You know what I mean? It's like I'm sitting there at the game and I'm like, what the fuck am I watching right now? Like we should have from the first snap of the ball. After the first quarter, we looked like a completely different team. And like you said, I don't understand if like Heupel's game plan changes. I don't understand if it's just like complete fuckery, but like isolate the game and watch it quarter by quarter. The first quarter of that game, it looked like I was literally sitting there like, holy shit, we're about to blow Georgia out by 40. Like this is really about to happen. They couldn't do anything offensively. They couldn't stop us defensively. Granted, Kirby Smart he's very good at adjustments, right? So they came out
That's true.
after the quarter, made some good adjustments, came out after halftime, made some even better adjustments. But the offense looks different. The play calling looks different. Knowing when to be aggressive and knowing when to maybe just run the ball. Like he was doing it right in the first quarter, and I feel like everywhere from there on until late in the fourth quarter. But I will say big shout out to Chris Brazel because he had a hell of a game. Joey Aguilar had a hell of a game. And the thing that just frustrates me the most is like, as a Vols fan, I feel like beating Georgia is slaying our last Titan. Like it's taking down our last foe that I feel like we need to take down in order to take that next step to be in that conversation with the Ohio States and the Georgias and perennially beat up there with those guys. Because if you ask me, like those guys are up here and we're in a bracket below them. And until we can beat them consistently 2-3 years in a row, I won't feel like we're up there. And we as a team won't feel like we're up there mentally either, right? This is Heupel's what sixth time losing to Georgia?
I
Six, I
think
think.
it's fifth or sixth.
So he got the monkey off of his back. I think the most he had scored against Georgia was 21. So he got that monkey off his back. They had a great day offensively. Defensively, I think not having Ricky Gibson and Jamal McCoy killed us because our corners were getting cooked all day. Rushing defense, boy, we couldn't stop the damn runny nose on our rush defense. So that was very frustrating to watch. It's just one of those games where like you should have won and you leave. I leave the stadium and I'm like, bro, if we win that game, I feel like your season goes differently. Your confidence is different. Your confidence as a coach, your confidence as a player. Obviously, like you said, going down later in the season, having that on your record, it just looks good going into trying to get a playoff spot, trying to get a home playoff game, which in my mind is like the pinnacle of our season because I don't think we're winning the national championship anyway. But yeah, it was just a tough loss, man. It was one that's tough to stomach, and I hope they come out next week and beat UTEP by or whoever the hell we're playing, UTSA or UTEP, one of the
Oh,
two.
UAB.
UAB, yeah.
Probably gonna
Better
be like 40 something to
Nah, I
15
would
or something.
score
Going for
80
15.
fucking points. Go score 80 points, Heupel. Quit taking your foot off the gas. Go score 80. Like, here's my issue.
That's called Vegas. Vegas making calls. If he taking his foot off the gas, that's Vegas making a call. He
My
following
issue
what he
is
got to do.
you become what you practice. And if you constantly take your foot off the gas offensively in these games against teams that you're supposed to beat by 80, if you're taking your foot off the gas, what do you think is going to happen when you play Georgia? Your players are conditioned to not play a full 4 quarters of fast-paced football. So like every game I want to see the same thing out of them. I don't care if we're playing Carnes High School out there. Like go out there and score 80. Go out there and make your offense be out there the whole game. Run the ball effectively, pass the ball effectively. But to your point, it's fuckery. So I
It's a
don't know, bro.
business. You got to remember
It
that. It's a business.
is
It's
a
like
business.
having your favorite college team, your pro team. It's like picking your favorite pro wrestler. It's a business at the end of the day. We want to see them win, but sometimes they lose. And
Now I
sometimes they
would
lose a lot in the most heartbreaking fashion known to mankind. And it's been going on for 15 years, but at some point you get numb to it. And
I
I
would like to make
numb
a
as hell to it.
disclaimer to your audience watching that I never really believed in sports being rigged until I started talking to my man here. And now it's like every time I watch something like this, I'm like, I shit you not, I'm standing next to this kid in the student section and I look at him and I'm like, how the fuck did Vegas call a 3-point spread on this game? Like, how did this end up being a 3-point game? Like, how are they so accurate every week that it's like, how that it's just there is no way the probability is not there if it happened mathematically, bro. Like it's I don't know if it's rigged down to the players, but something in the system somewhere is rigged, and you can't tell me it's not.
There's definitely some players involved too. Notice the ones who fuck up and somehow get to the league. Jared Garantano had an opportunity in the league, and look at Pruitt. He kept a man's talking about some. He gives us the best chance to win, knowing damn well he throwing picks every game.
Right.
The Alabama game when he went AWOL and
Yeah.
somehow got the start again. Like what? In what world, if it was 100% real, do they do that shit that you ain't kicked off the fucking team?
Yeah. No,
Like
you're
it's
right.
like it's little shit like that. Like I could break down every Tennessee loss going back to Butch Jones, like all the chart game, the dumb shit that doesn't make any fucking sense that somehow a team loses, not just Tennessee, but any game. But yeah, I ain't too worried about it. You know, we'll probably get 10 wins on the season. It is what it is. Um, it'd be
Who are
nice being an
those?
SEC championship game though, but
Let me ask you a question though. Who do you think we beat Alabama for one? Here's my issue moving forward. You have really tough games in my mind in Alabama against Alabama, who shit the bed in week one, but they look like they've been taking care of business. Granted, it's not against great competition, but they look like they've been taking care of business. And anytime you play in Tuscaloosa is going to be a tough game. For two, you got to go to Florida and play in the swamp. For three, Oklahoma or Arkansas is giving us a game. I don't know which one it is, but I have a bad feeling about one of those. I don't think it'll be Arkansas because I think they're out for blood against Arkansas. I think Oklahoma will give us a tough game. And then fourth, I look at Vandy, man. Vandy just went out there and beat South Carolina. Like Vandy ain't no joke either. So I mean, you can
here's
laugh,
how I
but
realistically see it though.
I see more than one more loss on our schedule if we're gonna play like we did on Saturday.
Here's how I see it.
Because
UAB blowout win. Mississippi State, that's going to be a deceptively close game. Well, first off, Tennessee don't do shit on the road. That is I don't want to say a trap game, but that's almost a trap game. Arkansas, that's a win. Alabama is in Tuscaloosa. I'm going to say Tennessee wins this game. At Kentucky, that should be a win. Oklahoma is the game I was telling my friends about. That's the one I'm really worried about and think Tennessee might fuck around and lose that shit
I
in the
agree.
same fashion they did against Georgia. Maybe not all them damn points, but something like that. Shit, it might be like when Baker Mayfield took Oklahoma down here, won in overtime and shit through the who's that D.D. Westbrook. It might be in that fashion. New Mexico State, that's a win. Florida, we gonna win in the swamp. Vanderbilt, that's a win. Like I'm not worried about
You know,
Vanderbilt
we
at all.
haven't won in the swamp since 2004, right?
I know, I know. I'm well aware. Trust me, I've I've lived it, nigga. I know. I ain't worried about that team. I ain't worried about. They finna fire their coach before the end of the year. I ain't worried about that.
Okay, but here's my thing with Florida. Every year, it doesn't matter how good we are, it doesn't matter how good they are, or how bad they are, or how bad we are and how good they are. It's a close game. And I think
I ain't say
playing
it wasn't gonna be close, but I do think Tennessee
like
gonna win.
I think playing in the swamp adds that extra bit of edge for them. However, I think our defense will look monumentally better once Jermod McCoy and Ricky Gibson are back. I don't know how much Jermod McCoy is going to look like his old self from last year because obviously he's been coming straight into a game off an ACL tear. And who knows? You know what I'm saying? I'm just not banking on him being the same guy he was last year. But I don't know. I can see us. Me personally, I like to have a pessimistic view on it, and if they surprise me, then they surprise me. But I could see us losing to Alabama. I could see us losing to Oklahoma, and I could see us losing to Florida, and hell, I can see us losing to Vanderbilt. So, hey, if they manage to
I'll
just
say
lose,
this: when the spread come out, you'll have a better idea of what's gonna happen. I'm gonna
I
word it
don't
like
know.
that.
We'll see. I just hope. I just have a feeling we'll be going to the swamp with playoff implications there in a massive way. And I think as a UT fan, anytime we have something riding on the line like that, I've watched them blow it too many times to be confident in them now. So, hey, I'm not a hater. I'm a
It's
realist,
true.
bro.
You not lying. You not lying at all, man. It goes back to them weird ways that look like two different teams playing when shit on the line for Tennessee.
Yep.
You not lying about that shit. When
I'm not a
shit is on
hater.
the
I'm a
line,
realist.
Tennessee finds a way to fuck it up.
We do.
When big things on the line, at least.
Just
Now,
like the
let's
Fed.
move on to some NFL Week 2. Thursday night, we had the Packers beating the Commies on 9-11. Packers won by 9, and the first player injured just happened to be Jaden Reed, who wore number 11. Fun fact, too, I know it was mentioned in my Discord. The Commanders Stadium is 911 miles away from Green Bay, and they played on 9/11. Ain't that
Wow.
some shit? You can't make this shit up.
You literally
Michael
can't.
Parsons did his thing. Tucker Kraft had a game. 7 catches, 124 yards, 1 TD. Daniel sprained his knee. He's day to day right now. Somebody mentioned the Commanders might have a down year. Injury bug hitting them right now. It might be, man. What's your thoughts on that game?
Um, I think a lot of people fell trap to the Commanders being good last year. Don't get me wrong. I think they're still going to be a good competitive football team, but I don't think they're going to come close to what they were last year. I think they're dealing with some bad injuries now. Austin Eckler's out. I know he's not a pivotal part of their offense, but he is a good piece to the puzzle. Um, we'll see, man. I don't. I wasn't I wasn't a huge believer of the Commanders coming into this season because I've seen it happen with so many teams before, and I think the Packers are one of the best teams in the NFC in my mind, in my opinion. Um, so I wasn't surprised by the score. I thought maybe Washington had a chance to win, but I thought definitely it was favored in Green Bay side, especially at Lambeau. And all the 9/11 facts you just spewed off are very hilarious. That's crazy. Like
All right,
you
they
can't,
love
like I said
trolling
earlier,
people.
bro, you can't, if you put that in a movie script, I wouldn't believe it. That's crazy.
All right, let's see. Moving on. Next game, we had the Ravens. They were in a seemingly close game for a while until they opened it up in the fourth quarter, scoring 21 points. Derrick Henry didn't do shit. He had 11 rushes, 23 yards. At one point, it was 6 attempts, 6 yards. He seems to be having a fumbling problem this year. And a very important thing to point out, actually betting wise. Number one, you remember Derrick Henry had an amazing game, minus the fumbles last
Yeah.
week. Of course, a lot of people gonna put prop bets on him. Didn't do shit this week. Same with Josh Allen, which we'll get to later. And a certain running back you just mentioned, Austin Eckler for the Commanders. You know he was one reception shy of his prop bet right before he got hurt.
That's Vegas, baby.
Yeah, yeah. Dylan Gabriel made a sighting, 3 for 3, 19 yards, touchdown pass. Flacco, not too hot, 25 or 45. 199 yards, one touchdown, one INT. It's clear Shadur Sanders is a show pony for this team. I've said it before. And really not much to talk about in that game besides them opening up for real.
Nah, I think
Next game, I'm going to let you handle this one. Actually, what you got to say first?
the Browns Ravens game. I think those divisional games, the AFC North, are just always so weird. Um, I, with Derrick Henry as a diehard Titans fan, watching him play for close to what, a decade, you got to give that
Yeah.
man the ball 20 times in order for him to have a good game. Like he doesn't really start heating up until carry 15. So I mean, those close divisional games. Obviously, the Ravens offense, like you have so many weapons, it's not exactly geared to do that every game. But yeah, that was AFC North matchups are always ugly matchups in my mind, and they always kind of pan out to be like they're fun to watch. Don't get me wrong, love watching them, but any divisional game is always kind of a muddy mess.
Isn't that the second straight game the Ravens scored 40 plus points? Because they
Yep.
lost, what, 41-40 last
Yep.
week,
Yep.
and now they won 41. Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting. One of them games, they ain't going to score all them points. But all the money on them on that
Hey,
over.
did you see Lamar and Joe's interaction after the game?
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
Man, that was
I
awesome.
know they
So
was like kind of cool when they played together, even though like Joe was really him and it was just washed up.
Lamar loves Joe. That's like his big brother. So seeing them like dap up after the game and like Lamar gave him like a real heartfelt hug, like you could just tell like that relationship means something more to him. So that was something very cool for me to see after the game.
Yeah, I ain't never had no ill will towards Joe Flacco after he left. I mean, it was time,
Right.
and after he got paid, we knew what was coming. First
That's for
half
sure.
played kind of decent. Second half, here comes the interception. Here comes Joe Flacco doing some bull, throwing a pick six or whatever. But
Yeah.
he won the Super Bowl, so it is what it is. He'll always be a Raven, no matter what. Next game, though. I'm gonna let you handle this one. Titans lost
All right.
33-19 to the Rams. Cam Moore did have a crazy touchdown pass across the field on some Madden shit to a dude. I think we're gonna hear his name a lot more. Elick Iomanor or Ioman. How the fuck the nigga from Stanford that cooked Travis Hunter? Y'all know you know who that is now. Yeah.
Right.
What was your thoughts on the game?
Man, for one, I think the Rams. I'm gonna start with the Rams, and then I'm gonna go on my Titans rant. I think the Rams, if they play things right, and McVay being a great coach, he is. I think they will. that can be a team to look out for in the NFC because offensively they have weapons in abundance. I mean, if you want to try to take Devontae out the game, then you got to worry about Puka. If you want to take the receivers out the game, then you got to worry about Kyron Williams. And I mean, Matt Stafford's going to make something happen. He's that guy. Like, I don't feel like Stafford gets enough respect, especially this late in his career, but he's still that guy. He's still slinging it. He knows all the tricks of the trade. He plays like a veteran. So hats off to the Rams. However, the first thing I will say about the Tennessee Titans is every week that Brian Callahan is the coach is another week we waste on Cam Ward's development. I think over. Am I lying, bro? Am I
You're
lying?
not
Okay.
lying, bro.
So listen, last week, okay, let me preface this with when Mike Vrabel was the coach of the Tennessee Titans, we were the least penalized team in the league for multiple years running, right? Penalties to me is the number one thing you can look at as a team and tell how disciplined they are. Discipline comes from the top down. Discipline comes from your head coach. Being prepared from the game comes from your head coach. Are you a professional football player and should you put the time and effort into these things? Of course. So I'm not going to blame it all on the head coach. However, if there is a standard in a locker room and you don't abide by it, and if you don't abide by it, you're gone. That is how you hold people accountable, right? To me, watching them play, my biggest issue is I don't see good culture, right? So we have what was it? I want to say it was 11 penalties last week against the Broncos. We had 133 yards on offense and 131 yards of penalties. You're never winning a game in the NFL with that. So that's just discipline, right? And then the head coach comes out after the game, Brian Callahan. He gets on the mic and he says the same shit he says every week we lose. He comes out there monotone and he's like, yeah, well, we got to fix this. We got to be better here. We got to be better here. Like, I'm fucking tired of it. Get that guy out of town. You had your opportunity to fire him in the offseason when you fired the fucking GM. All we do, listen, don't make me laugh. I'm passionate. All we do, man, we've been on a rotation of fire GM, bring in new GM, spend a year with coach, fire coach. GM brings in new coach, spend a year with GM, fire GM. So it's like we've been doing this fucking carousel for 4 or 5 years now. When you have the opportunity in the offseason, Callahan had a horrible year last year. I personally, as a fan who's watched all the games, you know what I'm saying, like pays attention to the interviews, pays attention to the practice footage. Like, was Will Levis a problem last year? Yes. Was he the whole problem? No. And I think he was put in a position. I'm not going to say that was unfair to him, but wasn't exactly a position to succeed. And he was put into that position by a bad head coach who doesn't call plays well at all, horrible with time management. They didn't really have pieces around him. So that just bleeds into this year. This offseason, you should have taken the opportunity, fire your head coach, bring in a GM and a head coach together who are one cohesive unit, who you hired the GM and you let him hire his coach, and they'll work better together, right? So now what are we doing?
So it's not this disconnect going on.
Right, exactly. It makes no sense. Like there's no thinking going on. So now what are you going to do? We're going to lose to the Colts this weekend. They're a better football team than us right now, unless we just magically turn things around, because we were still our first drive this week after a game with 11 penalties. Our first drive this week, 2 penalties in the first 3 plays. You can't make this shit up. 2 penalties in the first 3 plays. So automatically you're at 3rd and fucking 27 on the first drive of the game. So it's like there's not enough accountability in that organization right now, and there's not the correct culture to turn these things around. My fear as a Titans fan is that Cam Ward and our defense have the talent to will us to enough games that Callahan doesn't get fired. So believe it or not, I'm kind of hate watching now. Like, I'm watching and I want to see Cam Ward do well and I want to see our defense do well, but I want to see us fucking lose because I want Brian Callahan strapped to a damn rocket and shot out of Nashville as quickly as possible, because he is not the head coach of the Tennessee. He should not be the head coach of the Tennessee Titans. And listen, brother, I got love for him. I love him as a human. I love him as a God-fearing man. But he is not a head coach. He's a Nepo baby who never deserved a head coaching position. And that's my take. Like, Bill Callahan, as legendary of a coach as he is, like, our offensive line's pass protection is horrific. Cam Ward's been sacked 11 times through 2 games. Like, you're going to ruin a franchise quarterback. He is showing signs that he could be a franchise quarterback. And that is literally, you can't put a price tag on that in the NFL, right? So if I'm the owner, I'm getting everyone that I'm trying to put this kid in the best position I can to succeed. Over the offseason, we give the worst left tackle in the NFL a $90 million contract. Like, what are we doing? I don't think they want to win. I just don't. I can't watch this and think this owner really wants to win football games, because if you did, there's 10 steps you would have already taken to put yourself in a better position to succeed. Iron Manor is out there making plays, like you had mentioned. He's going to be a dude. Like, whether it's with us or somebody else, whether he plays we don't pick up his 5th year option, he's going to be a dude in the league. Cam Ward looks phenomenal. Like, he's out there running for his life, making plays, making throws that you can call him a homie, whatever you want to, but like, he's doing the damn thing. DK, the other rookie we got, phenomenal kick returner, punt returner. Our special teams look elite. Special teams these last 2 weeks have been phenomenal. Defense, yeah, we gave up some points, but anytime you're on the field for 70% of the game because your offense can't move the damn ball an inch, you're going to give up some points, right? They put the offense in positions to succeed, and they don't capitalize. We've scored 1 touchdown through 2 weeks of football. At this point, you can't sit there as a right-minded human being and give me a case for Brian Callahan to be the head coach of the Tennessee Titans. So until Brian Callahan is not the head coach of the Tennessee Titans, I hold no hope, because it's just going to be the same shit week in and week out. Cam's going to make some good plays. He's going to show some flashes. He's going to get sacked. He's going to be running for his life. Tony Pollard had a good game. He was running his ass off. Defense played well, but I mean, I hate wasting the talent we have. Like, we have a good defense. We have a defense that if they weren't out there 70% of the time, they could once again be another top 10 defense in the league. You've got some pieces on the outside. Like, Calvin Ridley's a good receiver despite his drops in week 1. You've got Iron Manor showing you that he's going to be somebody that you can rely on. I just hate sitting back and watching them waste another year of football, man. It's so hard to watch. I can't even. It's like I'm past.
It's like Groundhog's Day for you, ain't it? You
Man,
seen it with Mariota. They ruined Mariota. And speaking of quarterbacks being ruined, if you've ever noticed, every black quarterback that's played for the Titans has gotten fucked over at some point. From Steve McNair to Vince Carter, to Vince Young, to Malik Willis. Guess who? Number 4? Or maybe 5 if you count Warren Moon, because they really act like he don't even exist, even though he's with the Oilers, but still. But yeah, Cam Moore got him running for his life out there. He can't do that nonchalant shit no more. But I do think they will eventually get a new head coach and turn around. The closer they get to that new stadium, that's when it's going to be.
Well, that's another thing too, right? Like, you have these exciting things coming in your franchise's future. Like, you have the new stadium coming next year. You have a quarterback who's clearly, like, clear as day. Watch the tape. This kid is special. Like, he's making passes that you see out of, like, 10-year guys. You see out of the Mahomes. You see out of the Josh Allens. You see out of the Lamars. Like, he knows how to read a defense. He is calm in the pocket. He keeps his eyes downfield. He's not just a cut loose and run guy. Like, he's trying to keep his eyes downfield and make a play. So you have a guy. Please don't fuck this up, because as a Titans fan, I can't take it anymore, bro. It's been 20 years. Please. Like, I'm even when we were good with Tannehill, he had his good year. Like, he had a really good year. Other than that, it was Derrick Henry carrying us. Like, Tannehill had a good year, but the reason he had a good year is because we had a really good running game. This is the first time in my life as a Titans fan, I think we could lead with the passing game and supplement the running game in. Because we've always been a run-first team, right? You had Eddie George, and then you had Chris Johnson, and then in between that, you had DeMarco Murray, and then you had Derrick Henry. Now we're kind of trying to shape our team more around the passing game, which is fine. That's where the game is nowadays, right? You still got to run the ball, but most successful offenses in the league are pass-first offenses. So I like the direction we're trying to go. I just think we have the wrong guy leading the charge. And until he is the coach, like I said, every week and every day that Brian Callahan is the coach is another day and week that you're stunting the growth of Cam Ward and what your team could achieve. And because of that, I just don't think that Amy Adams-Strunk, who is our owner, actually wants to win fucking football games. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, we're going to move on because I don't want you going through it the whole night, all right? But next game, we got the Steelers losing to the Seattle Seahawks. DK scored against his former team. Go figure there. The Steelers gave up an easy, inexplicable touchdown on a kickoff. No one wanted to recover the ball somehow. Somehow they just skip their mind. I don't know how. I don't know how you're a fucking professional and you forget to do that. That's crazy. Unless you get paid millions just to not do it. Both quarterbacks had 33 passing attempts, just like Cam Ward and Matthew Stafford did in their game. A little ode to Charlie Kirk. Not even finna go down that rabbit hole right now. And JSN had a game for Seattle. Aaron Rodgers looked like the Jets version of Aaron Rodgers. But at the end of the day, I'm not too worried about the Steelers. I think they'll be better. They'll make things interesting for the AFC North. Like you mentioned, the AFC, really any divisional game, but the AFC North, the games are close no matter what in just about any facet. What was your
1,000%.
thoughts on that game?
To your point, I think the Steelers are going to bounce back. Obviously, like Rodgers is getting comfortable. Tomlin's getting comfortable with Rodgers at quarterback. The kick return touchdown, like you just can't have that as a professional. To your point, I kid you not, I could show you a text where I texted my dad and said the only way I can see that happening, the only explanation I can give is that he has money on the Seahawks winning the game. Because it was the most boneheaded decision I've ever seen in my life. Like how you touch the ball and look back and just walk off the field. Like literally,
Like,
bro.
nah, I'm good. I don't need
When
that.
he hit the sideline, if I was Tomlin, I would have been like, all right, bro, keep walking to the locker room and grab your bag and go on and go. Because that was just like, you can't have that. But I think the Steelers will be all right. I think the Seahawks are interesting moving forward. We'll see what they do. I don't think they're like good enough to really make noise, but it's an interesting team to watch nonetheless. I think the Steelers just dropped a game, but I think they'll be fine. The AFC North is tough.
Yeah, I think the Seahawks, they'll be like that 500 or sub 500, 8, 9, 9, and 8 type of team in the hunt, but probably won't make the playoffs. But you never know. You never know in the NFC West. Next game, we got the Bills and the Jets. There's really not much to talk about here. Neither quarterback had 100 yards passing. Tyrod Taylor had the passing touchdown. Josh Allen didn't play too hard. Again, I mentioned about the prop bets from last week when he balled out, and this week he didn't. Got a Mitch Trubisky sighting. It's Mitch Trubisky. We don't need to talk about him. The Bears got that ass whoop. Detroit dropped 52 on their head. Jared Goff had 5 touchdowns. We saw a little bit of that last year. The Bears, they seem like one of them cursed teams. That's kind of the word I want to use for them. The Jets, the next team, the damn Giants. You had a vintage Seattle Seahawk 450 plus yard game with him playing like 99 overall gold Madden card Russell Wilson, and still somehow they found a way to lose the game. I hate the Cowboys, but that shit's funny as fuck.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Man, let's see. What's the worst part? The INT in double coverage in overtime. That's can't do that.
Yeah,
A blatant bad backwards pass. Can't do that.
I think with the to touch on the Lions game, like kind of what I was saying about Heupel should do. I'm very glad Dan Campbell did. Like just run the score up. We're playing football. It is like I like that he went out there and he didn't take it easy on Ben Johnson. I like the bounce back game for the Lions after getting absolutely bullied last week. So I was happy to see them win. I'm not a big fan of the Bears, but to your point, they're one of those like just bad organizations, like the Titans are, like the Browns are. They've kind of entered like the Giants. Like I have found myself saying this a lot this year, and it's good teams win football games and bad teams don't. So there you go. But with the Giants game, I think that was my most fun game of the weekend to watch, and I didn't even really watch it until halfway through the fourth quarter because I was letting the Titans fuck up my mental health, but the Giants game. How okay? The one question I have, right after the Malik Neighbors touchdown, after the vintage Russell Wilson deep ball, perfectly thrown, like that was absolutely gorgeous. What a performance from Russell Wilson. To your point, defensively, what the hell are you doing? If you're the Giants, like what are you? Greg Olson is on the broadcast, like circling a 25-yard area. And he's like, yo, and anybody with eyes is watching this. And they're like, what the fuck are you doing? Like you're literally giving up the 20 yards that the Cowboys need to kick a field goal and win the game. And you know Brandon Aubrey is arguably their best fucking player. He has the leg to do it. And he walks out like a serial killer. You can't even like dude doesn't have life in his eyes. He just goes out there and kicks footballs, right? So
you know, Adderall, bro.
Bro, you know he's got the leg to do it. Like, what are you doing defensively? Like, once again, good teams win football games and bad teams don't. And bad teams will continue to be bad teams, and good teams will continue to be good teams. Dallas, I don't know if they're really good. They just took advantage of what the Giants gave them. But I mean, hey, hats off to the Cowboys for coming back and winning that game that they should have lost because that's just crazy.
They're
like,
not ready to have Jerry Jones dealing with pissed off fans and the media yet. We ain't there yet. It's gonna happen. Just give it time. They'll probably make the playoffs, but just give it time.
You can't convince me that a right-minded human being that gets paid millions of dollars to coach NFL football decided to call that defense in that particular part of the game if there isn't some sort of fuckery going afoot. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, in my 20 years of
Madden, commercial.
Bruh, in my 20 years of Madden, I've never made that mistake. Like, I wouldn't make that mistake. Some idiot watching it on the couch would not make that mistake. So you can't tell me that you're going to make that mistake. It's just, I don't know. That's one of those that it's like it's so blatantly, something so blatantly wrong that it almost has to be something going on.
I did not expect that game to be the closest game. I think the one I called was going to be the close game of week 2 might have been at least from the 1 p.m. slate was I think Chicago Detroit. I thought was going to be the close game. That game I did not give a fuck about initially, and I was like, oh shit, damn, the Giants and the Cowboys, they in overtime. Shit, I guess we tuning into this shit. Okay, that's what's up. And it's even funnier that the Giants lost because the Cowboys going to do what they do in the playoffs, so I ain't worried about that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, the Cowboys are going to be the Cowboys, but it is what it is.
Then they had a snooze fest. It wasn't really a snooze fest, but the Niners beat New Orleans 26-21. Mac Jones was playing very uncharacteristic out here, 279 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Jawan Jennings, VFL, had 5 catches, 89 yards, 1 touchdown. Spencer Rattler, he had 207 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. And Kamara was 1 yard shy of 100. Let me find out somebody had a prop bet on that nigga hitting 100 yards rushing.
Somebody did.
Let me find out. Not really have anything else for that game. That was like
that game. I didn't even honestly. The only thing I can say about that game, because I'm gonna be perfectly blatantly honest, I did not watch it. The only thing I know is when I was going through to make my bets, I was like, "Why is San Francisco only a 3-point favorite against the Saints?" And then like midway through the Titans game, I saw a highlight that Mac Jones was playing, and I was like, that makes sense.
The Brock Purdy injury.
Yeah, but hey, I will say though, credit to Mac Jones. I mean, hey, that coach out there. He's a quarterback guru. I mean, he just showed you once again that you can essentially put anybody in that system and they'll throw for 300. So
let me see.
Unless your name is Trey Lance.
That whole situation was just that's a whole different situation. Like the Trey Lance is one of the biggest question marks as far as quarterbacks. That one and Justin Fields is like 2 of the biggest question marks for me as far as just quarterbacks.
Yeah.
On how their career has gone. Trey Lance obviously needed more reps, but Justin Fields, I ain't even finna get on that one. But like it just doesn't. It seems like some fuckery happened behind the scenes, just the way Trey Lance's career went. Yeah, especially how fast he lost that starting job.
For sure. He never really got a chance because I don't know if you remember, but the first game I believe that he played in was that like torrential downpour in Chicago.
Against the Bears, yeah.
Yeah, and then
or maybe he made it to the second game and that's when he got hurt.
Yeah, it was like the second or third game and then he was done. Like he never really got a chance to go out there and prove himself. But regardless, like once again, Mac Jones went off, coached great system, and that's what good coaching can do for you right there. We need that type of guy in Nashville, so we welcome you if you want to come to Tennessee.
Hey, you don't want him coaching if y'all up by 10. He'll fuck that shit up real quick.
Hey. Honestly, there's not very many good candidates. Cliff Kingsbury, I would absolutely love to have on the Titans, but it's a conversation for
you love him for a year, then hate him after 2. You know how that Cliff Kingsbury shit goes.
Yeah, we should have never let Vrabel go. Yeah, we should have never let Vrabel go, but that's a conversation for another time.
Great segue. The Patriots won with 33 points. Again, that number keeps popping up for some reason this weekend. Against the Miami team that is drama filled. It's even funnier that a reporter asked Tyreek Hill about, not reaching 100 yards receiving in the game. What did Tyreek do in this game? Got over 100 yards receiving. Tua, shit, he had 300 some yards passing. But there was one notable overthrow where you could see that Tyreek Hill was visibly pissed off. It's clear Tyreek Hill gonna get traded at some point. And I'm willing to bet if he gets traded mid-season or even before mid-season, there's gonna be a matchup where Tua and Tyreek Hill have to face each other on opposing teams.
Yeah,
Like I could see that shit right now.
for sure. Yeah, the NFL will not miss that opportunity. That's guaranteed. But if you're the Dolphins, like, I guess I guess that coach is probably getting fired sometime soon, which is crazy. But I mean, if you like, you can't with that much talent on a team, like you can't come out and start the season 0-2. But hey, credit to Vrabel. I absolutely love the hire of Vrabel for the Patriots. I think it's the perfect fit. I think Drake May played well. I think that's going to be a team that in the next. I don't think this year they'll be super competitive, but give them a couple years and they'll be a force to reckon with in that division for sure. And they'll. I don't know if they'll give the Bills a run for their money, but they're gonna be a team that's gonna bring it to you every week. So I was excited to see the Patriots get a win.
And they've been starved too for a while, the Patriots
For
for
sure.
success. After Brady, they had to win your Mac Jones. They went to the playoffs, but other than they've been starved for success.
Yeah.
Starved. So
Which
it makes sense they are writing the shit.
I don't feel bad for him though. Let me make that clear. Yeah, I don't feel bad for him.
Let's see. Cincy, they won despite Joe Burrow going down and Jake Browning coming in the game, led the game winning drive, but he still had 3 INTs. Trevor Lawrence is not him. And you mentioned the new stadium with the Titans. I don't know if you heard this, but the Jags, they want to renovate their current stadium and turn it into something that looks like what the Titans stadium's about to be, or the new stadium's about to be. Yeah, like Tony, not Tony Khan, but Shad Khan, excuse me, has been planning this for a while. They've done like a whole gentrification of Jacksonville. I'm sure it's still going on. And I don't think Trevor Lawrence is the face for that. He got the genetics, if you will, for the type of quarterback they're looking for,
Right.
but he ain't the guy.
Yeah. No, I
I think
agree.
it's gonna be somebody else for Cohen. Or Cohen gets fired and they bring in somebody else and get rid
Yeah.
of Trevor Lawrence in the process too.
I think I'm very familiar with the Jags being a division opponent. And I think that's another organization that's like trying to pull themselves out of that dumpster fire category that once again the Titans, the Browns, the Panthers, like all those teams are in. And that's another team like they have the talent to be good, but Trevor Lawrence just giving him that massive contract, I never understood that decision and never will because I mean, yeah, coming out of college, I thought he was like the next Peyton Manning, but he ain't done a damn thing in the NFL. So that decision made absolutely no sense to me then. It doesn't make sense to me now. Them renovating their stadium is crazy because they just did that like 3 years ago. They added the pool in the end zones. They got like Jacksonville is a place much like Nashville, to be honest with you. What it's turned into, it's like it's a destination stadium. Like you go there if you're already in town and the Jags are playing, and maybe your team's in town. If you're already there on vacation, like you go watch a game. It's not like Jacksonville doesn't have a huge fan base, so I mean, that's no surprise to me that they're trying to put more money into their stadium to make it more of like a place to come hang out and watch football. Because I don't know, I feel like that
It's
team
not
has
just football. It's like the Titans. They want to turn like how the Titans stadium's gonna be like for concerts and things like
gotcha.
that. That's really the main reason too. And they could possibly, I don't know. I was gonna say they could host WrestleMania, and then I remember Khan is associated with AEW, so
Yeah.
they could go that route, the AEW route with that
Hey,
if they do
the,
that.
the Jags did do a really cool thing and showed they like the Jags Twitter account put out a video of Cohen. What's the coach's name? Liam Cohen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Cohen in the locker room after the game, and I mean, them boys seem, you know what I mean? Like they seem bought into him. You could tell like when he was speaking, they were listening and respecting what he had to say, and he was speaking with some fire and said some really good things. It seems like he's holding people accountable. So, but the interesting thing to me in that game, I didn't have a chance to watch the whole game, but I did after I got the news that Burrow went down. the offense looked better to me with Jake Browning running it. And I don't know if that's just me tripping, but I mean, it seemed like the playbook opened up more. Like Jake Browning was able to do more with that offense. Obviously, Joe Burrow's elite, but that was just an interesting take in my mind. Was like watching it; it just kind of seemed more fluid after, at least from what I watched when Jake Browning was at the helm.
I've noticed when Jake Browning does play, things tend to be exciting for the Bengals for whatever fucking reason.
Yeah,
Every time he seems to play, whether it was it last year, the year before last, whenever Burrow got hurt, Jake Browning still managed to put on some type of show.
yeah,
Not saying he should be a starter, but it's very Garner Minshew esque, like when he took
yeah,
over for the
right.
Colts a little bit.
Yeah, he's a gunslinger and he's fun to watch, and I think maybe that's why I'm thinking that because he just like he just trusts his eyes and he goes, and I mean that's not necessarily like always a good thing because then you have people like Will Levis that kind of turn out of that same type of mindset. But hey, it was exciting to watch nonetheless. Good for them. Good for the Bengals for starting out 2-0. It's that was the conversation the whole offseason was them starting the season out slow and then picking it up. I mean, it feels like the last 4 years that's been the conversation. So good for them for starting the season out 2-0. I'm just excited to see. I've never been a really big believer in the Bengals. Even the year they went to the Super Bowl, I wasn't a believer in the Bengals. I feel like they just kind of got there out of good matchups. That year, I feel like they had Kansas City's number. They beat them at the end of the regular season. They beat them again in the playoffs. So we'll see. I'm not a massive believer in the Bengals. I think there's two teams in their division that are better than them, and the Steelers and the Ravens. And honestly, from watching the Browns, I mean, obviously against the Ravens didn't have a great game, but watching them week one against the Bengals, like the Bengals might be the worst team in that division. I think the Browns kicker shot them in the foot for not winning that game. Um, so I don't know. We'll see. Not a huge believer in them, but they have the weapons to be exciting. So I'll always watch them play.
That is the one thing the Bengals will rely on is at least they exciting. If they lose a bunch of games, it might be close.
Right.
Next game though, we got the Cards and the Panthers. Cardinals should have won this in a blowout. Obviously, Vegas had other things in mind. Referees kept Carolina in the game. Bryce Young, shit, 35 to 50, 55, which I mean, it's still 20 incompletions. 328 yards, 3 tutties, 1 INT. But I knew they was cooked the moment Bryce Young ran back 30 yards on a fourth down. Even though they got another chance, it's like, what are you doing? You know
Yeah.
you not like that, bro. You can't. You not like that, bro. You not Lamar. You not Donovan McNabb against the fucking Cowboys on Monday Night Football. You not Michael Vick. I rock with Bryce, but come on, bro. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah, I think the Panthers were actually my team this offseason to be kind of like a dark horse. Not necessarily a playoff contender, but a team that will surprise people with how much better they were from last year. And it just doesn't look like my prediction is panning out so far. So, I mean, they played a good game against the Jags last week until they hit that weather delay, and then I guess they played a good game this weekend. But I mean, I don't know. The Cardinals to me are one of those teams that are like they're kind of stuck in football purgatory because they're one of those teams that's going to win between 8 and 10 games, 7 and 10 games every year, and be stuck drafting between 15 and 20 and never really have the chance to get better. I think they need to move on from Kyler Murray. I think his time after this year, you just I don't know. I feel like you're hurting yourself more than helping yourself by keeping him. I think he's run his course there. I don't feel like he's super fired up to play there either. So I don't know. I didn't watch a whole lot of that game. I watched some highlights, but my light died. Oh well.
Yeah, I'm not. I've never been like really sold on the Cardinals at all whatsoever. Like you said, they roughly an 8-win team at best, more
Yeah.
times than not. Not really sold on them. Next game, you got the Bronx lost to the Colts, who are now 2-0. Can't forget that Jim Irsay passed right around time of the ECF when the Pacers went on a little run to the finals before losing that in Game 7. And a penalty bailed out the Colts because they missed the first kick. It'd been nice if Tennessee had a penalty like this instead of the way it went, but that's a whole
Yeah.
nother conversation. And then they messed around and nailed the second one. Danny Dimes, he's earning his nickname so far in 2 weeks. 23 or 34, 316, one touchdown. And I'm not used to seeing a owner with the headset and a play sheet. That still bothers me. That really bothers the absolute fuck out of me.
I don't blame you.
Like, is it because it's a woman? Partially. but still, it's like you
That's what I was
overstepping.
about to ask.
It's like you overstepping.
Yeah,
Like Jerry Jones, kind of Arthur Blank, they be on the field from time to time, but even then, they don't got the whole headset on. I
right.
think all the owners need to stay their ass in the box. Just do this, or clap. That's it. They don't need to be on no fucking sideline doing fuck all that. If you want to dictate shit and rig shit or whatever and play your part, you can do that shit from in the goddamn box. There's coordinators up there too. You don't need to be next to the head coach and amongst the players and shit.
But hey, one thing I will say is, um, it's a fresh for the Colts. I think it's like it could be some fresh energy having a, like their owner being so invested in the team, right? Like I know what it's his three daughters, right?
Yeah.
And Carly was the one on the sideline, correct?
Yeah, that's like his right hand because she
Yeah.
been around since the early 2000s, like
But
following
hey,
like operations and shit like that.
it was cool seeing her on the sideline. Like for me, I agree with you. Like there's boundaries, right? Like if you want to be on the sideline, be on the sideline, but just be there, right? Like you hire these people to take care of this job for you. So if I hire you, I don't want to be micromanaged. But I think it is cool that she was on the sideline, like getting hype, being there for them. But the weird thing is, I was watching a video on Twitter today. It was like, damn, somebody dap her up next time. Like she's over there with like 10 people and nobody even like really
After
congratulated her, messing with her. It's just like her hype by herself around 10 people. But hey, I think I make this point all the time at the barbershop. I think in the NFL, you have outliers at quarterback, right? Like you have a Lamar Jackson, a Josh Allen, a Patrick Mahomes. I think all of the other 29 guys, if you put them on the right team and the right system, can be Daniel Jones, right? I.e., Sam Darnold last year, right? He goes to Minnesota with a really competent quarterback head coach, has a great year, gets himself a paycheck. Daniel Jones comes to a system that fits for him, and the Giants have to sit there and watch yet another one of their players that they let go to the wayside with
have
like
success.
elite talent, man. Like I hate to say it because I'm not a fan of the Colts. That's one of our rivals, but like Daniel Jones looks really good in that system, and that offense legitimately looks good. I thought after last week, I thought maybe the Dolphins just sucked that bad. But I mean, the Broncos defense is arguably one of the best defenses in football, and you put up almost 30 points. So it's like, I don't know. They could mess around and get in the playoffs and make some noise if they continue playing the way they are.
I won't be surprised if they make the playoffs this year. I mean,
Yeah,
to quote unquote honor Jim Irsay after passing, it makes a great story. But I'm not 100% sold on Danny Dimes. I mean, it's been 2 weeks.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
2 weeks.
But
Does he look good in the 2 weeks?
yeah,
Sure. I'm
for
not gonna
sure.
disagree with that. But the real Danny Dimes gonna show up if they make the playoffs.
Eventually,
Same way Sam Darnold started seeing ghosts in the playoffs. Just wait.
I think
He might
another
win
interesting
a comeback player of the year too. Who knows?
for sure. Another interesting point is didn't the Pacers owner pass away like right before they made their run? Or am I tripping?
Nah, you thinking of the Colts on the Jim Irsay. Because the same day that Jim Irsay passed was the day that Tyrese Halliburton hit that shot that bounced up high as shit, like 8 feet in the air, and bounced in. They won in overtime
Yeah,
against the
I was
Knicks.
about to say maybe my mind was just trying to make connections that aren't there, but yeah,
You're
hey, but
thinking of Bill Walton passed when the Celtics beat the Pacers the year before and they won the ECF to go to the finals. That's
so
probably what you're thinking of.
maybe probably maybe Indiana's just putting on for Jim Irsay this year. Because I mean,
Well,
listen, they're in the AFC South. I hate to say it, it's probably the worst division of football outside of the NFC South. Like you're not, you don't got a lot of competition. So like, if the Colts can, they're going to be good enough to beat the Titans twice, probably. They're going to be good enough to beat the dumpster fire in Jacksonville twice, probably. They might split with the Texans. So like, just there, you got 4 to 5 like games you should win, right? And then you just got to win 4 to 5 other games outside of your division, which I think they have more than enough. That team's always had talent, right? They got the talent offensively. They've got the talent defensively. So we'll see. They were also a dumpster fire last year, which is why I'm very surprised to watch this. So hey, that's the NFL though. There's gonna be one team every year
who
that
was
comes
that
out.
quarterback last year?
Uh, Brock. Oh, Anthony Richardson.
That's right. And then Joe Flacco. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Joe Flacco.
No
I mean,
wonder I forgot it was Anthony Richardson.
yeah, because he had
But
the.
he's done. He's cooked.
Yeah, I think anytime you're a quarterback and you tap your helmet in the middle of the game, you get a sub, you're cooked. But there's no coming back from that.
Mm-mm-mm.
And you have a chance, like
You know what's even crazy though? Is like this man made it to Florida off potential and got drafted what top
for sure,
5 off potential.
off potential. Yeah, I agree.
That's insane.
I said throughout the whole draft process, the year he was getting drafted, I had no clue why people are so high on him. Don't get me wrong; he has like the tangibles, the thing you can like, you know what I mean? Like he's got the size, he has the arm strength, he has the speed, but that's all he's got. Like if you watch his tape at Florida, that wasn't a winning football team. He didn't play winning football. So I don't know why pundits had him up there like as one of the guys. Could he have been? Yeah, but fuck, I mean, potential's a killer, bud. I never understood why they were so high.
Yeah, he really it was really when he threw the ball and hit the ceiling or whatever, which for one, in what world and what game are you ever gonna have to throw the football so damn high that you have to hit the ceiling? Number one. Number
Never
two,
ever.
that just shows how fucking inaccurate you are. Cool, you got a strong arm, but can you hit the goddamn target? This same shit with Joe Milton, except Joe's not that bad. It's oh man, he can throw 80 miles per hour. Cool. What was he doing with that 80-mile-per-hour fastball at Tennessee, at Michigan, at New England? He did have like a good game or so, but the rest, like, what was he doing with it? Breaking receivers' fingers and overthrowing people. Like, cool.
Yeah, a whole lot of nothing. So hey, good for the Colts though. But I will be interested to see how this plays out towards the end of the year. Like if Jones, I don't know if they signed him to a 1 year deal, a 2 year deal. I don't know what they did, but I'll be interested to see if he keeps playing well. If we run into another Sam Darnold situation where he plays really well in the system, and then the Colts have to come to a decision of do we want to keep this guy or do we want to try to get another rookie in the draft or you know what I mean? It'll be very interesting to be watching them moving forward. Because hell, like I said, man, they,
I
they
don't
come,
think it's a 1 year thing for him though. Like, I feel like if even though I think he is signed to a 1 year deal, they gonna extend him, and he gonna do the same shit he did to the Giants, where like he
right.
went to the playoffs. After that, he ain't do shit. I could see that happening right now.
But I mean, like I said, man, they come to Nashville this weekend, and so we look like the worst team in football. So they're probably starting the season out 3-0, and then hell, you already got a third of the wins you need to get to the playoffs. So I mean, that'll be an interesting team to watch for the season. I think. What's the score?
Yeah, you're right. They do have a third, or could have a third, should I say?
What do you have
Speaking of
the? Sorry, do you have the Texans game up? Did they win?
no, they lost 20 to
Okay,
19.
so there you go. You got a 1-1 Jacksonville, 0-2 Titans and Texans, and a 2-0 Indianapolis Colts.
Mm-hmm. You got an 0-2 Kansas City Chiefs team too. Like I said,
Hey,
this is the down year. Travis Kelsey clearly sold on a potential touchdown reception that bounced off of his hands just magically into the hands of an Eagles receiver. And this one wasn't as bad as Super Bowl. They didn't get their ass beat that bad.
yeah,
But hey, they still getting tush pushed all over, and they 0-2 right now. All that magic from last year ain't showing up this year.
yeah.
Taylor Swift ain't gonna save you. I'll be so glad when Travis Kelsey retires. So we don't have to hear about none of that Taylor Swift shit no more. At least not in the NFL.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know, dude. With the Chiefs, like I thought last year was going to be the year that they fell off, and they won so many close one-score games last year, and I was like, no way they get to the playoffs and beat the Ravens or the Bills, and sure enough, they did. So I'm not going to say shit about the Chiefs until they're in a coffin with a nail in it. So, hey, but one thing I will say is despite the Eagles starting 2-0, I think they're frauds. I thought they were frauds last year. I think they played a very good game in the Super Bowl. I think the Eagles are frauds, and I think the tush push is the most BS play in football because there's multiple penalties every time they run it. The center literally lines up way over the ball. Both guards jump off sides, false start every time the play is ran. Like it's bullshit. It's clearly like I don't feel like it, I feel like they kind of bended the rules to this play. And as much as I don't mind coaches taking advantage of something that works, like finding a loophole in the rules and taking advantage of something that works. I also think it is being, it's not respecting the game because it's just. I mean, you can watch it on tape like 9 out of 10 times. There's 3 different people jumping early. The center's literally lined up all the way over the ball. I hate that play. Not a big fan of the Eagles. I think they're frauds, but that's just me.
I agree that they're frauds, but I don't really get too bothered about the tush push. Really, it's just a quick way to get Jalen Hurts a little prop bets for rushing touchdowns, or an easy way to get first down sustained drives. It don't bother me too much. There's way worse things they've done to destroy the quote unquote integrity of the game, like changing the kickoff rules, limiting where you can hit as a defender, what's pass interference for the defense, all that shit. So there's way worse shit than the tush push.
That's fair. Yeah.
I will say this though. It's funny how all these teams seem to complain about it. Why don't they fucking do it too?
Right.
If you complain you can't stop it, maybe you should put in the right personnel
I
and do the same shit.
Why not? Like, why does all 32 teams not run this same fucking play? I don't get it. Like, how boneheaded do you have to be? The Titans had 2 4th-and-1s on the week over this past weekend. And I'm like, why aren't you just doing the same shit the Eagles are doing? Like, nobody can stop it. It's so hard to stop that. Like, why not just wedge everybody together and push the quarterback forward? Like, if y'all hate it that much, just do it.
Or you don't even need the quarterback. You use somebody else. Like I know the Ravens tried it. They had I want to say it was Mark Andrews at one point
Yeah, I remember that.
doing
Yeah.
it as like the quote unquote quarterback or
Yeah.
Ricard or somebody bigger, so you don't got to risk injury to Lamar.
I
Just do
remember
that with not with Cam Moore, but try somebody else that's bigger. You can do the same shit.
that. Right.
There you go. It's like when everybody started doing the wildcat or the read option. Just
Right.
adjust. And the last game on the notes, because you know Tampa Bay game just ended while we were recording. Falcons won the boring Sunday night football game. That shit was trash. 22-6. JJ McCarthy sprained his ankle week to week. Career off to an injury riddled start, and I haven't seen enough of him to really get a good read on him for real. Because we only seen two-ish NFL regular season games from him.
I think, yeah, that was there's not a whole lot to say about that game. It was a snooze fest. But, I mean, just from last week, like, I haven't, like you said, there's only 2.5 games on tape of JJ McCarthy. But, I mean, I like the fact that he, like, stayed up last week and, kept belief in himself and in the team around him and came back and they came back and got the victory. But, I don't know, man. That I felt like the decision between Darnold and McCarthy was going to be a big one for them moving forward, and clearly they pushed all their chips into McCarthy. To me, I thought that was the wrong decision because you already got the rookie quarterback on a cheap deal, right? Why not just sign Sam? Get Sam to stay in a good system. He probably would have taken less to stay there because he's comfortable. I think they should just kept Sam there and rocked with that, and then continue to develop JJ, right? Because he's coming off of an injury, like you mentioned, a bad injury that typically takes about a year to come off of. So I don't know, man. We'll see. Like you said, injury riddled. That's never a good way to start your career. And for Atlanta, Penix, I feel like Penix could turn into something, but they still got to get more. I feel like if they added, well, for one, if Kyle Pitts would actually work out, that'd be awesome. But for two, if they add one more receiving threat, then that could be a team because once again, that division sucks. So
Yeah, that's a very winnable division. I mean, the only threat you truly have to worry about is Tampa Bay.
yeah,
Carolina's been the thorn in their side, though, when it comes down to the end of the season for the Falcons.
for
The
sure.
Saints, they might be competitive in their losses. I'm not saying they're gonna win a lot of games, but they
Yeah.
might be competitive in their losses.
Hey, they've been competitive in both
But those
games
are
so
never
far.
guarantees.
No, for sure. But
Yeah, exactly.
they played the Cardinals week 1, and they kept that a closer game than it should have been. And then this week, I mean, they played a good game against a really good team. So those, once again, we talk about the divisional games, how weird those games can get. So yeah, that's fair. I mean, you can never write them out, but I think to your point, I think the Falcons are just as good as the Bucks. So I mean, it'll be an interesting race. I mean, I still think whoever wins that division probably has 9, maybe 10 wins, but that'll be an interesting division to keep an eye on moving forward. I still hope that the Panthers get it together, and because I really think I like Bryce Young a lot. I don't know why. I can't give you an explanation, but I love Bryce Young.
Underdog, probably. Under
Yeah,
undersized quarterback.
yeah. I love the fact that last year, like, he had to take his seat on the bench, and then he came out, and I think he played like the last 3 or 4 games, and like he came out there and he played well. Like he didn't hang his head. He wasn't in the media talking cash. Like he just did what he was supposed to do. Came back. I think they in Carolina they just got to get a better offensive line around him, and once again more weapons. Like Leggett hasn't exactly panned out. Coker had a really good preseason, but he's on IR now. He gets hurt like a week before the season. He's out. Tet McMillan, I mean, he's a rookie, but we'll see what he does. And then they trade away Thielen, which I think was a horrible decision. And then you just got to get pieces on your defense. But that division, I mean, really, to your point, that division is so bad that if the Saints do stay competitive and win some games they're not supposed to win, hell, they could be in the race to win that division. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, one of my homies mentioned it's the 20-year anniversary of Hurricane Katrina, and
Uh-oh.
he was saying, I don't 100% agree with this, but he was saying that the Saints could have a better year than people expect. So
Yeah.
you never know. I personally don't think so, but you never know.
Would be there. But I'd like what's the head coach's name there? Kellen Moore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Former Boise State quarterback.
yeah. I hope for him that they pan out. I mean, I've never had anything against the Saints. I like watching the Saints play good football. I feel like football is better when the Saints are playing good football. So good luck to them. Stop.
Oh, active over there. But to close things out, man, I usually don't like asking people this. You know what? I ain't gonna ask you because you're gonna be back on anyway. So I ain't even gonna ask you the question I was gonna ask you.
Nah, ask me.
Actually, fuck it. I'm gonna ask you.
All right.
Way too early prediction who you got win the Super Bowl.
Oh, this is going to change week to week. Maybe. Actually, I don't know. Before the season, I said Lamar is going to get his trophy this year. But it's just with the Ravens, bro. The Ravens do Raven things. But my official prediction, I can't narrow it down to one team on the AFC side. If you absolutely had to put a gun to my head, I would say the Bills just because I don't think for whatever reason, the Ravens will be able to get over that hump. I hate to say it because I want to see them do it so bad, and I want to see Lamar win a trophy and Derrick Henry win a trophy. But I think the Ravens or the Bills on the AFC, and then the Packers in the NFC. I feel good about the Packers. I like the Packers. I feel like all the storylines are kind of playing into their hand. Like they got the Micah trade. Jordan Love's been playing well. I can see the Packers fraud checking the Eagles. Hopefully, I just hope that somebody does it.
Fraud checking the Eagles is funny.
Bro, I feel like the
Yeah,
the NFC's been nothing but fraud teams for the last freaking 6-7 years in the Super Bowl. Like I thought the 49ers were frauds. I think the Eagles are frauds. This is just my opinion too. So whatever. I think I just have personal beefs with the 49ers, but I didn't like the 49ers in the Super Bowl. It's not exciting to me to watch the Eagles.
what about the Rams?
That's my if I had to say an underdog pick, that's like a dark horse. I think the Rams could do it, and especially like Stafford's getting close to the end of his career. Devontae and Puka, like they tore up the Titans, right? And we have a good defense. We're not the best defense, but I think Devontae went for 100 and Puka went for 98. And this is with the game plan trying to take them out the game. Like they went stupid, and their defense.
That's saying something.
Yeah, for sure. And their defense, granted, our offense is hot garbage, but I mean, their defense did their thing too. Like we had the ball in plus territory like 6 times, I want to say. One of them off a turnover, and I mean they were that classic like bend don't break defense. So I mean they don't have very many like huge names defensively, but they play well as a unit. So I can for sure. Once again, we talk about divisions that are kind of easy to win. I think that division could be easy for them to win because I don't think the 49ers will be what they have been. I still think they'll be competitive, but I think that's my now. If I had to pick like a dark horse team in the NFC, that'd be them. And then my dark horse in the AFC, for shits and giggles, the Tennessee Titans. Maybe tighten up. Nah,
I respect
dark horse.
the dedication to your team.
Dark horse in the AFC, man. I could see some crazy shit happening where the Colts end up in the Super Bowl, especially because of the storylines.
Man, it'd be Saquon left the Giants won the Super Bowl. You know, there's that. There's that.
Yeah.
That would be some shit though if Daniel Jones won the Super Bowl with the Colts.
Hey man, in today's NFL, I don't count anything out, bro. I'm telling you, I don't count anything out. I can't. I can't.
Hey, yeah, and the Pacers did go to the finals, so I don't believe it's gonna happen. But hey, like
Yeah.
you said, they do love some storylines, so there is that.
So let me ask
Uh,
you. Let me ask you a quick question. As a Titans fan, obviously I have a very biased opinion of this. But as someone that's not a fan of the Titans, that's watching it from the outside, what do you feel like they could do to be better? Or how do you feel about them as a team? Because once again, my opinion is biased. I think we have a great defense, and I think if we fire that coach, we could be a lot better. But as someone watching it from the outside, what do you think? How do you think the Titans could improve?
yeah, you nailed it on the head with that first. Get rid of the damn coach. Get
Yeah,
rid of the coach. Get Cam some protection. I mean, goddamn, this man can't be running for his life in every single game, and it seems to be a trend, not with just him. I've seen it with honestly a lot of black quarterbacks throughout the years. It seems to be a trend. At some point in their career, they usually have like a shit offensive line, and they got them running for their life. And
yo,
they be putting on the show. The quarterbacks be putting on the show. Lamar at one point had a bad offensive line. He was running for his life. I think Jalen Hurts at one point, he was running for his life. Obviously, that's changed since the Super Bowl and things like that. But that's a normal thing for whatever reason it may be, quote unquote. But no, the
yeah,
Titans, yeah, they need to change coaching staff. Get him some goddamn protection. Get him a little bit more wide receivers too. Give him some more weapons.
yeah. I
That's
agree.
really what I need to start.
Man, we'll see. I think it would be a damn shame if we wasted Cam Ward's talent. That's like where I'm at. I just think
That's the most Titans thing to do, though.
it is for sure. But who would you say you're the Titans owner, right? Who would you want as your head coach of people that are available? Like who do you think would be the dream head coach for a young quarterback like Cam Ward with his skill set? A young black quarterback with his skill set.
Man, there was a name that came to mind. He's
Who?
always got ties to Tennessee when there's an opening, but it's usually to college. Think you
John
know who I'm
Gruden.
talking?
John Gruden.
Yes,
I was talking about
John
that shit.
Gruden would be a very interesting coach for them.
It would. And I think I literally had this conversation today. I think John Gruden would be like, first off, he's taking the job because I think he's taking any NFL job. I think if you're a head coach that's looking for a job opening, Tennessee could be very like alluring, right? Because we have a really good young quarterback. We have the pieces defensively. We have some guys offensively that have showed you like uh, Io Manor, DK. Like we have some good young talent. We've got Ridley out there. I think it's an alluring job. I think it's just going to come down to if they actually pull the trigger and fire. If he is the head coach by our bye week in week 10, I'm saying this right now on YouTube. I will not watch another Titans game until he's gone. And I've watched every game for like the last 15 years, minus last year. I gave up on him last
Bless
year.
your heart.
I couldn't do it.
Bless
But
your heart, man.
hey, it's tough, man. It really is. Like, when you, because here's my issue with them, right? I sound like a crazy person walking into my barbershop, my place of work, and telling everybody. I literally had to put on the game film and say, look, we're not as bad as everybody thinks we are. We just have a shitty head coach. Like, I have to go into this barbershop every week and fight for my life trying to tell people that this team, given good coaching, could be a force to be reckoned with. And it's year in and year out that we have the players, we have the talent. Last year, I think, was a little bit different. But this roster, man, I'm telling you, this roster with a good coaching staff, maybe I'm just a biased fan, but this roster with a good coaching staff does not lose the game in week 1 and definitely plays better than we did yesterday in week 2 against the Rams. Because we were up at halftime, bro. Make this make sense to me. It's 10-10. You've just scored your first touchdown of the year. There's like a minute. I want to say it was a minute and 10 or like 50 seconds left in the half. Rams come out, first play, throw a pick. You have the ball on the 35. You have 2 timeouts, right? This motherfucker just ran the ball 3 times and kicked a field goal. You have 2 timeouts. Like, this is your opportunity. Yes, I understand, like, you're going up with a field goal. but you're playing an offense that's extremely competent. You know they're going out there and scoring touchdowns. Like field goals ain't winning you fucking games in the NFL unless you're already a good team and that's a supplement to what you have. If you're the Titans and you don't have any offense, a field goal is not winning you the game. So I could go on about this shit forever, but yeah, coach got
Yeah,
it.
man. That's typical point shaving. That's all I'm gonna say. That's some classic point shaving right there. Some Josh Heupel shit, if you will. But yeah, we can tell the people where they can find you. Social
Man, I'm on
media.
I'm on Instagram at r.r.velkovic, my last name as it is on the screen. And hopefully I have my YouTube channel set up and I have my TikTok set up. I'm not posting on it yet, so I don't want to like link it out yet because I haven't exactly decided on a name, but I'm hoping in the next day or so to have my first bits of content out. So, but yeah, on Instagram, you guys can follow me at r.r. and then my last name. And I appreciate you having me on here. I've been asking to do this now for like a year. We just haven't managed to, get the time in. And most importantly, I want to say thank you to you for always giving me an outlet to ask you questions about like, starting doing content, and you're always there for me when I have questions. You're always down to help. So man, I appreciate you, and I appreciate everybody who listened. And I hope I provided some type of insight, some type of entertainment to y'all.
For sure, definitely. We're gonna have to do an episode on like fights and shit like that because obviously you're knowledgeable about that stuff, and I definitely want to pick your brains more on some things.
Yeah.
But yeah, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell. Wear condoms. Say no to drugs. Seriously, wear some goddamn condoms. Y'all motherfuckers out here got shit burning and all this other bullshit. But yeah, y'all have a good night. Cold, cold's bad. All that good shit. We out.